live. Really didn't have much of a topic as far as, well, I do, but as far as playing wise, because we're gigging tomorrow. Hope all is well. Yours truly, Rockin' Dave, the real deal, North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida. Do a little something different today. And usually, I don't do any of this. I've got several videos of me doing this. I mean, a lot, actually, that I have in my little Zoom camera. Here, let me show you. This is one of the first Zoom cameras. I have it on this camera, on the Q8 and the Q2. Yeah, this is the Q3. You remember this one? This was their first one that came out. And what I've been doing is just gauging and documenting my progress to getting back into my art. I haven't done that since I was a little kid. Oh, I actually started about, 12 years ago when Deb got me this art kit. And I did this one drawing, and came out really like, wow. That was my first drawing in 36 years at the time. Now I'm getting back into it more, the supplies. Um, so it's pretty cool. And what I'm going to attempt here is do an underpainting and using soft pastels and alcohol. This, you can see that, instead of water. And this is watercolor paper. It's a 140 pound Strathmore. It is cold press, and it's 22 by 30. Now soft pastels are like chalk. These kind of like these things. I do have some oil pastels that did come in that one kit that Deb bought me. I didn't know what any of this stuff was, because when I was a little kid drawing, all I had was a pencil and whatever crayons or watercolor paint I tried, and it was all messy. But recently, through a gift to one of my students, had a $50 gift card from Amazon, and we got these. These are called Paul Rubens Highest 72 color oil pastels. Now, these are like oil sticks. Now, if anyone knows anything about this, much different than guitar playing, right? But see, the two do go hand in hand. The Paul Rubens are very close to a brand called Sennelier, and those are like supposed to be one of the top line oil pastels. And oil pastels are like paint sticks, oil, like oil paint. Now I do have acrylic paint, and I got all kind of stuff. I even got a pyrography machine for doing pyrography art. Um, I guess the thing with Sennelier is that back in the late 40s, when World War II was winding up, uh, Pablo Picasso went to a guy, last name Sennelier, to see if he would invent some oil sticks, because I guess he was having a hard time getting materials because of the war. And this guy Sennelier came up with these oil pastel sticks. However, I just found out recently that a lot of these oil paints or pastel sticks, they go back to years, centuries, back to Asia, China, and Japan. So I guess this is really part of their invention. I think it's pretty cool. Very therapeutic. I hope everybody's doing well out there. By the way, and so when I have anything that upsets me, sometimes this really works. As well as doing the classical guitar and all that. Last week, Thursday, the day after I did my last live stream from here in the studio, I had a little bit of an AFib thing going on, and that was due to too much sodium. So I'm going to adjust a few things here. I still like playing shredding, doing fast, and still like doing metal. But if you notice, all my live streams has been more jazz fusion oriented and more like smooth jazz and kind of laid back and more melodic playing. A lot of people compared my playing now to Santana, which I love Santana. Him and Al Di Meola are one of my biggest influences. But it's very calming for me. Because one of the things, besides too much sodium, that's what happened last week. And I told Deb, I says, wow, if I'm having a sandwich, I can't have any soup. Even though I have low sodium soup, I just got to watch my intake. And if anyone knows about this, what AFib is that your heart rate starts to speed up. You literally feel like you just ran a marathon and you're just sitting there. And when that happens, it's like, oh man, I got to take a rest. This is why on January 1st of this year, New Year's Day, I had to cancel my gig because I was having a little bit of an episode. I want to see if anyone's in the chat. Hey, John, what's happening, buddy? Hopefully my hands won't get too dirty from doing this, and I could still, tap on my screen to see, who's in the chat and, respond to everybody. But anyways, before I get into this underpainting I'm going to do, so I had to be on blood thinners and all of that. It's not fun, man. It's not fun at all. And I still have my cardio mobile heart rate. So I would test this after I do my intense drill exercises, when my picking exercise. My heart rate would go up a little bit. Not too bad, kind of normal, like you're just working out. But however, because I was having these episodes, these AFib episodes, it would kind of push it overboard. And when it would push it overboard, it's like, oh my God, I got to sit down or lay down, because man, my heart just started going, And I don't understand. If you have AFib, you're like 5 times more to have a stroke. I don't understand how it doesn't fall into heart attack. But I guess, even though it affects your heart, but I guess it's also neurologic. But whatever it is, I just really watch what I do, so I don't push myself overboard. Because some people, that takes a long thing. If they get a stroke, it takes a long time to recover from that, and they don't always fully recover from that. I don't want to. I don't want to go there. So I still do my shredding. That I just do my speed bursts with them, and plus I like the jazz fusion stuff. I like doing that. So what does it have to do with the world of art? Well, with the world of art, really helps me therapy. For therapy and everything, it really, really does. There's no competition. There's no I'm trying to be better than anybody. No trying to, outdo anybody, or I gotta do this X amount of this. This is just I'm just doing this for me. And yeah, we do get involved with some of the art shows, and I play at the art shows in our booths, and then we sell. If we don't, we don't. There's no worries. There's no stress. So it's been very therapeutic. Now, what I'm doing here, I learned this. This is how I found out about what these chalk sticks are. There's a lady. She's up in the Tampa area. Her name is Susan Jenkins. Her YouTube channel is a Monet Cafe. She's an artist that does all these pastel arts and great stuff. And actually, her videos turned me on to this. I did several. Well, this not one of this is one of the paintings I did with the oil pastels, but one of them was like a forest. Where I started learning how to blend things with just my hand, and it just created like this dreamy, foggy effect of like, wow, this is cool. Kind of cool for like art cover, album covers too. And so I got kind of turned on with that. And then one of her other videos, she was talking about using water or alcohol, because alcohol dries quicker for an underpainting, and then let that dry, and then sketch over it or paint over it, or in this case, what I'm going to be doing, and I won't be able to finish this tonight. I'll just get this started, but I'll show you guys the results if I don't. Maybe next week I'll do another video on this. How's that? But what I'll do is, what I'm planning on doing is doing the underpainting with the soft pastels, spreading it with the alcohol, and then coming with the oil pastels, and then for the more fine, well, it's not finer detail, but more the pronounced stuff. So the stuff in the background might be with more soft pastel. If not, then the oil pastel real lightly, and take my finger and doing the like spreading it. That's how you create these type of they're not smear marks, but what they do, they create like these shadows. You just go like that, and then come in detail with maybe I got some Prismacolor pencils. I also have pastel pencils, all kind of. So we got all kind of stuff. So any further ado, what I'm gonna do is take this yellow to try to create some sort of a, I don't know if you can see it, a sky. What, it'll be like sunny. And what I'm going to try to do here, we'll see what happens, right? If it's an epic fail, then guess what? I just turn the page over and do something else, right? And I'll probably do this in sections. Because eventually what's going to happen, see, look how much I'm used already. So there's a lot of ground to cover with this. Because again, this is going to be the backdrop for like a dreamy forest background. And, you know, and with the trees will be in the forefront. So one thing I learned about doing stuff like this is how you kind of create these type of effects. What looks like a lot of mess really isn't. So I'm gonna take some alcohol here, and all this is an experiment. If it doesn't work, guess what? It doesn't work. So it's kind of like using this for like oil. I mean, not oil paint, but like watercolor, and just spreading. Because what I've been finding out with these pastels is it's just like it's dried up paint. Now I got this taped around it to create a border effect. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I've already done a few paintings where it didn't come out exactly the way I wanted it, but then it sparked some other idea. So I used it for that. Nothing gets wasted. So I hope everyone's doing well out there. We do have our gig. What, today's Thursday, right? Yeah. No, Friday. On Friday. Today's Wednesday. We have our gig on Friday, and we're doing the art walk. And I think one of them, or a couple of them, we displayed some of our art. And we sold at one of the other art shows we did. You don't sell everything. I see people with these. There's so much talented people out there. It's incredible. They'll sell some of these paintings for thousands and thousands of dollars, and then sometimes they don't sell anything. Okay, we'll see how this is gonna work, guys. We'll see how this is gonna work. Now these pastels, these soft pastels, they're the cheapy ones. They're the cheapy ones. That might not be coming out too good. I mean, see, right now it's wet, and then when I dry it, what I usually do, I usually put it out in our Florida room, aka the drying room. And when I do any type of paintings, I let them sit overnight, and then come back to them. The painting that I showed you with these trees, I got this rubbing alcohol I gotta be careful of, really was a mistake. And what I mean by that is this backdrop with this blue, all that blue backdrop was just a bunch of scribble like you see here. I thought, oh man, I ain't gonna be able to do anything with that. And then I started looking at it, and I started getting an idea of taking because I have like charcoal too, and then scribbling some charcoal, and then spreading it, and it created like this dreamy effect. And I thought, okay, little by little, let me see what I could do with it, and then it just kind of formed itself. That's how I could do it in my music, I come up with an idea, I run with it, see where it takes me, and if it takes me somewhere, boom, that's great. If it doesn't, no problem. I just, I'll have it recorded, but I'll just put it on the shelf and then, see where things go from there. Now, this might not come out the way I'm thinking, but that's okay. See, I could spread all this with my fingers too, but I'm on a paper that it's watercolor. You can see it's textured. Oh man, Because this paper's big, man. So I got smaller paper too as well. This is 22 by 30. And with the soft pastels, it's very chalky, so, you know. On some of my videos that I have not posted up yet, you'll see when I do post them. Everything is an experiment. You know, you could try this on sketching paper or copy paper to see where your drawings are, but the problem is when you use different types of media, you know, like oil pastel, soft pastel, or acrylic ink, or I also have acrylic ink as well as acrylic paint. You know, that's why you make different types of papers, because it works better on different types of paper. One result that you think sucks on one type of paper, you put it on something else, it's like, oh man, this is great. So, you know what it's like? It's like uh, it's like pieces of gear. That's why when I see some of these videos, some of them are cool. I mean, I'm not knocking. Everyone's got their opinion, and a lot of for the most part, a lot of people do have something very interesting to share. But if it's not good, even when I watch these videos, I have to hook up and plug into it and play what I play. Now the newest thing that's out by Boss is the GX10, a smaller version of the GX100. I think it's a great pedal. On this one, you could do you could on the GX series, you could run two different amp sims and stereo. But the thing that's with the new GX10 is they got more amp sims. They upped the ante on the amp sims. Their tuner, if you is already built in like with the volume pedal. So if you bring the volume pedal back to the heel all the way up position, it activates the tuner. That's brilliant. You still have the access buttons for the tuner if you want, but I don't see why you would need them since you got that feature going on. Plus, one of the features it has is the you could tune all six strings at the same time. Now that type of effect, that feature I have in my the GR55 guitar synth. When I call for the tuner, it'll just access all six strings all at once. They'll be stacked. You know, E, B, G, D, A, and E, and you'll see them all line up. You could strum a chord, just strum the open strings, and you'll see which string is sharp or flat. That's a cool feature. Okay, now I don't want this paper to get too bubbly. I think it's getting a little bit too bubbly. Now I'm going to show you something real quick. This, let me show you this. I've done a painting. I've done a couple of paintings of this with the couple, with the guitar, and the sand and the birds and all that. This was done with the same soft pastels, but this paper is called acrylic paper, and the weight on this is 240. And I was able to layer and then do a little bit of drawing in the fine color pencil. But before I did the figures and all of that, and the birds and that, what I did is I got a fixative. I taped it onto cardboard, went outside, and sprayed it with a fixative a couple of times, and let that dry, so that when I come over with the paint pens or the pencils, I got all kind of stuff. It's not gonna smear the back. Now the thing is, when you do these soft pastels, or any pastel really, well, primarily soft pastel, you gotta use it with paper that's got some sort of a tooth to it that feels sandy. Now the thing with this, with the acrylic paper, that's also from Strathmore, one side is sandy, there's a rough edge, and the other side of the paper is smooth. So there's different types of applications to utilize that with. But I tell you what, man, it's really interesting. When I was in high school, I had graphic arts, in my from my sophomore year all the way to my senior year. And I kid you not, man, I thought I would never take my first year. I thought I would never take this class again, and I thought the teacher was a jerkwad. And it turned out to be my best class, man. He was such a great instructor, man. He taught you real world stuff, man. He didn't sugarcoat things. Sometimes when you get sugarcoated, you get lied to. That's not good. But I remember, and this is, from what, 78 into 79, 79 into 1980, 1980 into 1981, because that's when I graduated, 1981. And I remember we had the dark room. We developed in film to burn plates to put on the AB Dick 360 offset press. I remember being in that dark room and having to develop the film and just watching these images come to life, man. That was so cool. Well, that's what some of these art channels remind me of. Um, there's another gal I follow, her channel. Her name is Joni Young Art, and she'll do all this acrylic painting on. I guess I got some canvases, but these canvases and that. Man, it's like these pictures just appear, man. It's incredible. Before your eyes, these images appear to you. They remind me of the days of developing film. And then there's another gal that I'll follow. Her name is Lydia Broderick Art. She's real cool because she'll do like paintings of faces, and then off to the hair will be these images. It's like very creative stuff, man. And God, there's just so many people I've been watching. Rick, I can't pronounce his last name. I'm so sorry. Um, he's up in Seattle. He's also a guitar player. He's got a duo. He's great. Rick Kretschy, Richard Kretschy, and he'll primarily do his on his YouTube. He'll do them live. His paintings, acrylic painting, a few other things he does, and yeah, he's amazing. Very inspiring. These are very. Sometimes he'll get on my live feed. I wish I had time to get on his, but he's just great. And there's another couple. Rafi was here. Yeah, two like hippie. I call them like hippie couples. He's an amazing artist. He used to be down here in Florida. He lived in Chicago for a while. Him and his wife came down to Florida, and they lived up in the Pensacola area. And then a couple years ago, they moved up to Oil City, Pennsylvania. And he's got his own art gallery in his house, and he does art galleries and does speeches, and he'll do music, speeches, voiceover. He does everything, man. It's a great world to be in because it's a great balance. And recently there was this one lady, this one gal. I've seen her channel. Let me see if I got anyone in there. Randy Tritt, what's happening, man? Oh yeah, you paint with wow, cool, man. Oh, whoa, yeah, hold on, yeah. You paint with oil paint, bro. Love, yeah, Japan. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, it's great. It is, man. Yeah, they go together, Randy. They go together, man. And it's great therapy too, and it's a great, nice balance, so you don't feel like overwhelmed with everything. Now I don't have oil paint, but I have oil pastels. The only reason I mean oil painting, I think is great, man. Because I grew up seeing all this stuff. So you think of like paintings, the first thing you're gonna envision is oil paintings. The only thing I can't get through is with the turpentine and all those chemicals, man. I just can't do it. When I was a little kid, I used to put model cars together. And you remember that glue we used to have back then? Oh man, I'd get headaches all the time. Yep, it's very calming, and it's very creative. To me, music is painting with sound. To me, painting is playing music with visual. They're two different worlds, but they really coexist, really cool together. Well, there's one gal I've found her channel. Well, the first one I saw was a younger girl. Well, not younger, but maybe younger than me. Alexa Cassandra art. She do like all these pencil drawings and like, whoa, she was a super badass with all this. Like, how do these people do it? And I would remember back when I was a kid, I would do this stuff before I even played guitar. I'd be sitting there drawing and sketching, and I'd get into real deep details, man. But then you discover guitar playing, you take a turn, and then 50 years later, I'm still gigging, but I'm getting back into this. But there's this other girl, her name is Krista Irene Art, and she does these drawings with a marker. And she said she doesn't like using a pencil because she doesn't want to sit there and erase. Whatever comes out, it comes out. And her stuff is almost like, I call it like illustrated art, but it's so unique. She has definitely her own style. She's not trying to be perfect. She's not trying to be this, not trying. She even goes against all the rules with, I guess they got the color theory and all this other stuff. She goes against all that and just says, "This is what I'm gonna do. This is what comes out. It comes out." And that's like when you improvise music. When you're playing, and you improvise. Whatever comes out, comes out. To me, that's the truest form, because it's that moment in time. You can't. That's why certain songs are hard to cover, when they were just like jammed out and here comes the idea and they were not really planned. It's not just those notes, it's that whole idea behind it. Let's see. So what I got here, guys, is basically, this is an underpainting. Now it did bubble up, but see it dry because I'm using the alcohol. And so the backdrop is going to be, it's going to have that very foggy, dreamy. And in the background, we have like a forest. And, there'll be, what's going to be in the background is going to be more shaded and faded. And as the trees come closer to you, obviously, it's going to be more and more like focused. For an example, like this, even though it's a different color, notice what's in the background here is faded, and what's in the foreground is more focused. So it's basically doing stuff like that. So my thing is this. I haven't seen videos, because I've been kind of looking for videos on this, mixing the soft pastel. And these are the cheap. These are what Artist Loft brand, 36 count. They're like what, $6 or something like that from Michaels. I looked up the Sennelier soft pastels for 72 count. It's like, almost $172. And their oil pastels are a little bit cheaper, but yeah, they're expensive, man. Let's see. How much? Let's see how much you change paint. Oh, how much? Oh, we'll talk about that, man. I don't know exactly what you'd want, but I wouldn't mind, getting into this for like a side gig, But I'm easy, man. I'm not like one of these. Well, this painting here is gonna be on special sale for $6,999. Whatever people want to charge for their art, and that hey, you go for it. But me, I'm not. I'm not looking to live off of this. If it happens, it happens. That's nice. Wouldn't that be something? So yeah, yeah, Randy, I think I think you'd be able to go to our website so we can see if we could exchange numbers and we could stay in touch with each other. I love to see the stuff that you do, man. You're probably incredible with your art. I've been getting into doing how can I say it? Landscaping stuff. I used to do all kind of stuff, but see, when I got involved in music, my whole mindset shifted. See, that's what happens. And then we get older. But yeah, this is pretty cool, man. Some of these people, I see them do all this stuff, man, like the paint pouring. There's another guy I've checked out his stuff. His name's Brandon Parker Art. Man, he'll sell his paintings like in the 20, $15,000-$20,000 realm, and he does a lot of the paint pouring, but he spends a lot of money on that material. And he made a very interesting comment, and I know this to be very true because we would do some of these high-end corporate gigs for real estate, uh, and they're showcasing these $1,000,000+ homes, and they'd have me playing in the background. So I would see what would be hanging up on the wall. Well, this guy Brandon Parker, that's what he does. Um, so he has his paintings go to high-end customers, and they're out there, man. He made a comment. He said, "Wherever there's an empty wall is an opportunity to sell a painting." And boom. There is also another channel, Milan Art Studios. Now they got a school. I guess the gal, Ellie, and her husband were artists, going through college and all of that. And for a while, she got into an area, what they call it, decor art. And there's definitely a market for that because when you have people selling homes and they want to sell the homes, what it's going to look like when it's furnished, they look at the walls. See, the walls are bare. What can we do with this? I don't know, put some paintings up. And then you'll get into, all right, well, let's get some paintings that kind of represent what the room looks like, the colors of the room. And she made a comment. She said, now, when you're going down a hallway, you don't want a painting that's so busy looking that's going to attract your attention. You just want something to enhance the walkway, the hallway. Because when you're selling a home, you're trying to sell the home, not what's on the walls. So very interesting stuff. I saw another channel where people are talking about leasing their art. And boy, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes total sense because it's kind of like graphic design, but in a different way. Because you could get into leasing patterns. You could just paint a pattern, and if there's an interest, a company will lease it for a while, and maybe they'll put a catchphrase over that, or they'll use it for a notebook or a tissue cover, whatever. But the point is that you're making money off of a simple design. The only thing is, one gal said you got to watch out what you sign because they could have it where you can only you're tied in with them. You cannot lease out or even take that same piece of art, that pattern that you made, and you want to create a painting over it. Now you can't because that underpainting you just basically sold to that company. Now they own the rights to it. It's like music, man. Like music. All right. So what looks to be like a bunch of green goobly gob, when it dries, it's going to dry a little bit lighter. My only concern, which I don't think would be too much of a concern, is the bubbliness because this is 140-pound watercolor paper. I do have canvases. I got all kind of experiments I'm working with, and when it does dry, see, a lot of it's dry right now. I have to put another coat over it. But then when it's dry to the point where I'm satisfied with what I see as an underpainting, all these little white spots you see here, you will get covered up with by trees and branches and leaves and stuff like that. So you're kind of creating this like 3D visual thing, It just takes a little time. Everything's time and money, right? But yeah. Oh, I'm missing on the chat. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'll paint. Ah, yeah, that'd be cool, man. Yeah, Randy, that'd be real cool. Yeah, I love painting. Yeah, the Bob Ross style. Yeah, I guess I used to see some of his stuff on Channel 11, but that was years ago. And Channel 11 back up in Chicago, you'd have all these people doing this stuff. It's like, like again, like I said, to me, it's like when you develop film, and all of a sudden these visuals they just they come to life before your eyes. It was so cool. Uh, oh, thank you so much. Dave does it all. Well, I try. I try to have a balance. That really is the secret for you from going totally insane. Because too much of one thing, you get burned out on it. And it's like, okay, I got to get a break from it, man. Hey, what's happening? I'm so sorry. The name Musical Life. I gotta get. You know what? Either my laptop or I gotta get another set of reading glasses that's a little bit more stronger. Because some of the type on this, I swear, with this phone, it's so hard to see, man. Oh yeah, Sutter's Musical Life. Yeah, if I pronounce, I'm so sorry. I don't want to mispronounce anybody's names, man. Oh, I just got. I don't know what it is. There's certain things I have a hard time pronouncing. So again, what I'll do is, yeah, see, I'm gonna let this dry, and then see what I could do with the oil pastel. See how much, and if it becomes like, okay, I can't do anything with it, I'll put it on the shelf, let it dry, and then maybe do something else over it. Um, God, some of our other paintings, they're out in the Florida room. I got those kind of set. Well, okay, here's something I could show you. Let's see. Like for patterns. Should I put that away too, man? I I'll give you an example. What I mean by patterns. This I did with acrylic paint, and all I did was take brush strokes, mixed a couple of colors, and just went with the brush stroke on a diagonal. Then I took what's called a mop brush, and I saw this one girl do this. I thought, oh, that's what we do. And you don't wet the brush. You just keep it dry and dab it in that paint, just enough that the tip is wet, and just kind of dab over. And that's how I created like these. But see, stuff like this, if I wanted to solicit any company out there, say, hey, you want to lease my design and lease it out for a year or whatever, and they put it on a box, whatever. They could put it on a tissue box or whatever. I don't care. I'll still make money. That's the secret. That's the key. When I started figuring out this stuff, I'm like, Sam, why did I think about that? When I was in high school, I remember I had to design. One of our projects we had to do was to design an ad for a paper. I don't know where you guys are at. If you ever had back in the '70s and '80s a department store called Polk Brothers, but we had those in Chicago. Polk Brothers, Weebolts, Goldblatts. Well, I had did this one ad, like for a newspaper, but we didn't solicit it. It was a project, and Polk Bros, that was their abbreviation, Polk Brothers. And I'll never forget my print shop teacher. First, I thought he was making fun of me and that, but then later on, he says, out of everybody, your design is very legible. It's the one that so he gave me an A on it because he said would people forget if they're gonna design something, especially if you put it on a billboard and you're driving by, you cannot have all this fancy stuff and you're on, down here like I-75 and you're doing 70 miles an hour. Your mind cannot see all this stuff. It's too much. Simple works. So as I did that, he gave me like I said, he gave me an A on that. And I thought that was pretty cool. Um, there was something else I wanted to say too, guys. Oh, so for people who get homeowners insurance with this flood insurance, check this out. Well, here let me start with this. On my route, there's a place that has. I think they're starting to have music. The place has been open. Maybe I want to say it's been many different things. It's been a restaurant, and it's been almost like a storage area, then something else. Anyways, it's called Jack's. Now, they're going to have, let's see. Jim Gage, what's happening, brother? A little different, Jim. I know this might look like green goop, but this is just an underpainting I'm doing, and I'm going to just create like this forest area. So all these trees. So the backdrop is going to have that. If you've ever been like to a forest preserves and you're looking, you see part of the top of the sun, the sky, and it's lit up with the sun. And then as you look to where the forest is, you tend to see nothing but green. So the idea is have like a green, foggy background, hazy background, and with have trees kind of painted very lightly, or with the oil pastel, smear it to create that shade, that very foggy, so that what comes in the beginning, before that, is going to be even more pronounced because again, you're looking at what's the foreground here and then off into the distance. But first I got to do it with the backdrop. And actually, this is the first time I've done this on this size of paper. I have a 3-pack of canvas 18 by 24. And I got canvas boards. The only thing is framing these. If you want to sell stuff like this, framing them, and then how are you going to, I got to look into a lot of stuff. Anyways, I don't want to forget my thought, my train of concentration here. Lisa, what's happening? Hey, Lisa. Now, Lisa, your drawings on your Christmas cards, wow, those are incredible. Oh, and congratulations to Josette. I can't believe, and happy birthday to her, man. She's 18. Yeah, I just finished my piece. Took me. Yeah, see, here's the thing, Lisa. I've been so impatient with everything. I try to rush through it because, obviously I'm gigging that, so the whole focal point is on the music and practicing. So this takes even longer for me if I want to get something done. But here's to give you an idea. And again, I guess it's what they call impressionistic painting and stuff like that. So here's an idea. So you got the trees in the foreground, and then what's in the background is just like faded and shaded because that's what it is. It's like a dreamscape. Where this one is more, again, impressionistic. The couple with the guitars and the backdrop. This is on acrylic paper using the soft pastels. Let's see. I got acrylic paints. I got acrylic inks. And the pyrography, if you know what that is, that's wood burning. I got some of the stuff put away. Well, I did an image with the guitar, me holding the guitar, the silhouette. But again, see, everything does take time. Everything is very time consuming. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'm kind of on an angle here, guys. Let's see. Yeah. She's graduating in April. Oh, I know, right? Oh my God. Yeah, it does. Oh well, thank you. Again, this is just for this one. This is a backdrop, and then there's another one I was doing here. Kind of like this idea. See how I have to work on this more. So this was done with the acrylic paint. Actually, a neon Liquitex. What do you call it? The Liquitex neon. Yeah, neon yellow or fluorescent yellow, and then Artist Loft neon green, and I just mixed a little bit of green, and then what's on top of it is oil pastel. So sometimes it's hard to find these videos to see what mixes and what does not mix. So sometimes you just got to go ahead and experiment and then find out what works and what doesn't work. It's really incredible. It's kind of interesting, guys. Michael's is all over the place. And they'll sell a lot of the stuff, like the pastels, but they don't sell pastel paper. I guess that's different. So you got to order everything. So, that's how you find out That's how you find out. Um, but anyway, so I'm passing by this place, and now they're under new ownership. So what's going on with that? I don't know. But on the news the other day, they had one of the realtor from Matlacha Island. They had a big meeting in Matlacha Island, and they took a lot of storm surge. And here's the thing: this lady says, "How many times could we rebuild the island?" Now, here. Let me. I know maybe I feel like I'm going all over the place. I had this idea a couple years ago where I thought, well, if I get back in the art, actually, yeah, I had this idea about doing this and renting out booths. And I thought, well, I can't just rent out a booth to play the music. I mean, that's one thing that could do we could do because then people want to hire us for their private events and they pay good. So that's one thing. But then the average person will want to buy something if they're not buying CDs anymore. So I started getting back into the art world by seeing these videos and watching all these paintings come to life, and that really intrigued me. And then that was last year, and then I think yeah, that was last year. I'm gonna say late summer, early fall. And then for my birthday, Deb got me this table right here. It's a drafting table. So that was cool. And I started getting trying to take this a little bit more serious, getting into this. And then the AFib thing happened with me. So that became even more therapeutic for me. And that's like, okay. But we did do a couple art shows, and I did sell one of my paintings at the art show. We're not selling them real expensive or anything like that. But I was able to take my classical guitar and play. And, I don't, when we rent the boots, I don't really tell anybody because, and oh no, we don't want music because they don't get it. So, not everything is for everybody, guys, and I totally accept that. I have no problems with that. But I just don't understand that the kind of music that I do play, it fits the mood for all this. You know, sure I like to rock out and that, but if you're gonna be like at a fine art event and there's some like paintings where it's very atmospheric and has very beauty, I don't want to play something that's depressing or something that's loud and obnoxious. It doesn't fit. So the stuff that I do play, it fits. Well, I think it was the first art fair we did was inside. Thank God, because it was in the summertime. And it was at one of the venues. They had a nice little stage there and that. But I brought my classical guitar that I very seldom do I show this. It's not an acoustic electric, and it's a pure 100% classical guitar, and it's an expensive one. We did not pay this. We paid just under $600 for this, but the guitar was selling for 3,000. And in the classical guitar world, that's kind of on a cheap uh, 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 realm right there, price range. So the lady said, and she let me play in my booth. I wasn't bothering anybody, so it was cool. And then at the end, as we're wrapping up, she said, "Well, if you want to sit on the stage and play a little bit, yeah, go ahead." I said, "Okay." I did not use any microphones or amplifiers or anything. It was a fairly large room. That sound carried everywhere. It's because the way the guitar is made. And I wish I would have recorded it, and I did. I'm like, so maybe next time we go there, we'll check it out. But getting back to like these situations with the floods, if you get homeowners insurance with floods, it'd be a good idea to ask them, hey, will that cover a flood even if it comes through the front door? Because one of the ladies in Matlacha Island was saying, yeah, these insurance companies, they're not paying people for their flood because it didn't come from the ceiling, it came in through the front door. Well, a flood is a flood, so you're paying all this money, and I just thought that's wrong to do to people, man. You know, I know it's kind of tough being down here with these hurricanes. I get it, but if you're gonna offer people insurance and people get excited, they're buying a house, they're moving in, they got all these things on their mind. Sometimes little tiny details slip through the cracks, and then you think you got flood insurance, and all of a sudden here comes a storm surge, and it could be only 6 inches of water coming through your front door, but 6 inches of water could do a lot of damage. And then you think, well, I'll be okay. I got flood insurance. And you go to talk to your insurance agent, and they say, we can't cover you because the flood did not come from the ceiling, meaning you got a hole in the roof. It came through the front door. See, little things, the way things are worded, you got to watch that. You got to watch that, guys, because it catches you by surprise, and then next thing you know, you spend all this money on your premiums. Like, man, but I can't get insurance. So it's been pissing a lot of people off, and it might not sound like much of anything, but if it does not hit their home, it hits their business. How it affects us musicians is that they can't reopen it until they get that resolved, and then they got to go through a health inspector to make sure that they can reopen as a restaurant. So all this money gets spent, and everything gets pushed back to rehire us to play. So we lose gigs. So it's like, what do you do now? But yeah, yeah, you know what, Lisa, my phone's slow like that too. So yeah, you look at this, right, and it looks like, geez, was that supposed to be avocado, or avocado avocado dip? I guess I could do that, but I'm just to see if I, like I said, paint a forestry. There was one other paint I had, but I can't find it. Here, I think I got this one on the wall. My hands are getting a little bit dirtier. If I could grab this. So this is on a very small mixed media paper. So this is like, I think it's 140 pound. It's a 7 by 9. This was done with the Paul Rubens Haya um, soft oil pastel and a little bit of the Prismacolor pencil. Now, I mean, none of this is supposed. I'm not a great artist like at all by any means, but some of the stuff is pretty cool. So that was with there, and what I did was took my finger to smear this to create this backdrop, let that dry, and then formed the trees again with the oil pastel, and then dabbed it to the dots to create the like the fall area. The house, the fence, the figure right there, and the birds was done with the Prismacolor pencil. And then I just sprayed fixative over it, matte fixative. And I see some of these people do some of this artwork that just blows my mind. It's like, oh, no way am I there yet. No way. But I appreciate it, and it inspires me. So yeah, combining this with the music, it's a great thing because they do go hand in hand. And for any of my musician friends out there, Randy and John, any of you guys out there, you know, and like Janice Lala, I'm glad when Janice hopped on one of the live streams, I think last week, and we got talking a little bit about, she goes to open mics and sometimes she can play, sometimes she can't. If there's any way that you guys could find a way even to get yourself in a farmer's market, arts and crafts show, you know what? You're going to find a lot of people go to these. And this is where you can start making your connection if you want to get the paying gigs, get hired on to play, because people are wandering around and they'll listen to what you're doing. Especially like, art, again, farmers markets and arts and crafts, they're going to be more in tune a little bit. They'll hear something like, oh, that's cool. To them, it won't sound obnoxious. I love doing the music fest, but then sometimes when people drink too much, it becomes like a big party fest. And there's nothing wrong with that because it serves its purpose. I'm not knocking that. However, if I want to sell something more artistically, I'm not going to do it at a drunk fest because they want to hear let's get drunk, good time Charlie music. You know what I mean? And again, that serves a purpose. But I can't expect them to really like any of the jazz stuff or, anything creative that's in that realm. And it's just not for them. That's all. Likewise, if your music, if it's hard. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, whatever kind of music that you play at these type of festivals, farmers market, arts and crafts show, you're getting all walks of life. And if they have an event and they're thinking about hiring a musician, if you do country, you're gonna find people like country. Boom, they're gonna hire you, man, because they're walking around and they're hearing. You're not a bunch in with a whole bunch of different musicians, everyone trying to fight for the same gig. You know what I mean? So now you have more leeway where you could raise your price if you wanted to, and then negotiate on that. You'd be surprised. Some of these people got money, and they'll pay. They got no problems paying what your asking price is, which that's really cool. Let's see. Uh, let's see, Lisa. Yeah, I can't paint, so I can use Sharpie markers. Yeah, but see those. You know what I found out, Lisa? There's this girl. Her channel is Krista Irene Art. This blonde girl. So, she kind of looks like Barbara Eden a little bit. I Dream of Junior, the way her hair is sometimes. But she's very good. And you know what? She doesn't use any rules or color theory or anything like that. She just starts drawing. As a matter of fact, in a lot of her videos, she'll draw. She will not use a pencil. With a pencil, you got you got the eraser, so you can erase if you make a mistake. With a marker, a Sharpie marker, you can't. So it forces her to draw these things. Whatever mistakes she makes it fit into it. And she'll do a lot of faces, figures, and that. It almost looks like illustrating art. But all the rules and regulations, she just threw them out the window, and she really has her own style. And that right there, I think, in my opinion, that right there, what helps a person having, they're true to themselves, and that's what makes people stand out. Whether if you like the art or you don't like the art, it stands out. Or if you like the music or you like the music or you don't like the music, it makes it stand out as their own unique thing. And I think, especially in the music, that's what's been missing, because a lot of these places with all these covers, and I'm not knocking the covers. I'll do some of them, but when it's like all over the place, it's like you can't get away from it. It's like it burns it out and it kind of ruins it. At least that's just my opinion. Now, if a person is passionate about playing covers, 100%, you go for it. You go for it. The same thing with the world of art. Yeah, exactly. Illustrated art make. Yeah, you know what? At least there's this whole world. All these videos I've been seeing, I've been so in tune to me. I've been playing for 50 years. So I've not been totally oblivious to things out there. I just never really looked into any of it until recently. I see, man, I got all these opportunities I'm just missing out on. And all these people are doing these things. And it's like, this is great. Now, whether they're making a lot of money or not making a lot of money, who cares about that? But they're enjoying it. They're enjoying that journey. Let's see. So yeah, guys, that's what's been happening. A lot of places, are still going to be taking a while to reopen. Now, Friday we'll be playing the Art Walk downtown Fort Myers. Um, Sunday we were just at the Miramar Outlets. Those gigs are all right because they're not directly on the waterfront. But I'm telling you, a lot of these restaurants that we play at, they're on the waterfront or close to it, or close enough to it that if there's a storm surge, man, it shuts these places down, and we just lose the gigs. And it's like, wow, it's a good thing we kept our driving gig and didn't want to go back to doing the music full time because it's a little bit rough right now. And we're getting older and we don't want to burn through our savings. So I think, yeah, she's checking on like three different art shows we're gonna get involved in, and I'll get stuff finished. Yeah, you know what I've noticed with these art shows? I thought, man, no one, I can't sell any of this. Who's gonna want to buy this, right? Well, I'm not trying to charge a gazillion dollars anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. Kind of, it's my way to spotlight my music and get it out to those people. because again, like I said, people want to hire for private events. Boom, they like if they like what I'm doing, they're gonna hire me. Boom, and that's or they'll hire you as well. You know, if they like what you're doing. But some of the stuff I've been seeing out there, I don't knock it because that's their vision and they're entitled to have their vision. It's just not my cup of tea. And I show them that, but I do show them that respect. But they'll show me that respect as well. What I do is not their cup of tea, but they see the work that that's involved in it, and they respect it. So when I see these people selling some of this stuff for, I mean, hundreds and thousands of dollars, it's like, wow, man. But some of these people are extremely good, extremely good. It's like you look at the stuff, you could tell it their painting did not take 1 or 2 days, you know. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna be getting off on this in a little bit, but I'm glad it's it took me a while to share any of this with because I thought, well, this is a guitar channel, and it'll always be a guitar channel, but let's see, Lisa, yeah, when I do art, I look at the world like, hey, it's not perfect, and yep, and I try and use that in my art. Life's beautiful. You just have to look at it from a different way. Lisa, 100%. 100%. It's how you look at things. You can find beauty in everything. But it's how you look at it. A friend of mine used to tell me this years ago, man. My guitar buddy Andy. You can make this your heaven or you can make this your hell. We already know there's bad stuff going on down here. We already know that. But you know what? God's good to everybody. It's how you look at things, how you open up to Him. He ain't turning His back on us. We're turning our backs on Him. You know, but He gives us all these things. That's just my opinion. And some people they don't want to hear religion, and that's fine. But if you ask me, what do I really think? Hey, everything comes from God. Everything returns to God, and we're gonna all find that out. But let's see. Yeah, at least you got yeah. Yeah, it's not a perfect world. I meant, yeah, no, don't worry. Yeah, I know. Hey, don't worry about it because you know what? These phones and the way the numbers, and letters are so close. I have to make so many mistakes with these things. Yeah. Thanks for. Oh, well, thank you so much, John. I appreciate it so much, guys. You guys are totally awesome, man. We love you guys to death, man. It's just great. Here's the thing with like these platforms that we use on YouTube or any other platform that you might want to use. It's a way to connect with people. And that's the beauty of it. When I say certain things, it's basically off of what I've seen when I see these people that are trying to con people to quit your job or quit your source of income, quit something that is helping you in life to do something that is a big maybe, because they're doing it. And it's like that kind of bothers me because it's almost like misleading people. And my only thing to those people that want to tell me about, well, Dave, if you do this, see now the new thing is to make your YouTube channel grow, just do what like I'm doing. Just do like reel off your phone. Well, I've been doing that all along because I don't know anybody. I'm going to spend a lot of money on fancy cameras and that. Well, if you do it this way, you'll make this. If you do it that way, I'm like, you know what? If you're making all that money, go out and buy a brand new car right now. And then let's see if you're really making that money. If you're not, it's just a bunch of hype. And it's encouraging people to do videos and, share their talents. That's beautiful. But conning them to try to, if you want to get monetized, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, hey, don't worry about it. But everyone's got bills to pay. And I don't know. To me, it's so disingenuous when people try to, make me believe that, well, I just did this video and it's not even posted, not finishing posted up, and I already made like $37,452.13. Really? And it's not even done posted up. Yeah, right. To me, I could spell it out in 6 letters: CONJOB. Con job. If those people are really making that money and I'm proving wrong, I apologize. I'm not trying to offend anybody. But I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Again, this is just just to share with everybody. You know, throughout the week, I'll be adding things on here. And I guess, if anything, if it goes completely, bad, like if this, like, oh God, this is horrible, well, at least I know. At least everyone else is going to know. The goal I'm trying to do here is using rubber and alcohol to spread these soft pastels. These are the Artist Loft. Look at how much I use that. This is on a 22 by 30 Strathmore 140-pound watercolor paper. Dry, I guess it's dry coated watercolor or cold press watercolor paper, and using the alcohol to spread it like it's like watercolor paint. That's my underpainting. The overpainting is going to use the oil pastels to create the forest. And then I might do some detailing with the Prismacolor pencils and whatever is this work. Point being made, we'll see how much this works. All these different medias, how they're gonna work together. If it doesn't, then it's proof right there. I really haven't seen any videos where people are mixing stuff like this, So that's why I guess I gotta be the experiment. We'll find out. We'll find out, guys. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys. And I think maybe we'll do some of these as well with the music, And I'll find some of my sketches I used to do that I had a couple years ago. That some of them came out, like I look at them again, like, wow, I can't believe I did that, So I took my time. See, I have not been taking my time with all this stuff. If I take my time, I think I can get it, pretty good. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. And Lisa, if you can, if you want, you got your YouTube channel. I'll get back, post up stuff that you do too, because it's all about inspiring people. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Friday, we should be going live. It might be closer to 6, between 5:30 and 6, until 9 o'clock at the Art Walk, because we're done bringing those buses back at the base between 4:30 and 4:45, and then we got to drive downtown Fort Myers with the gear and set up, and then start playing and just see how things go. But yeah, anyways, guys, have a great evening. We love you all. Until next time, until Friday, rock on and God bless. We love you all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening. Thank you, Dale.